Charlie X-ray, I'd like to go to company for a sec, call you back. Roger.
In the wintertime, the air is very stable, very smooth. Typically what I would like to do is to go out and just, keep my skills up. There was nobody around the airport. I was alone at the time. I had called one of my partners, and at the last minute he said, he had something come up, so he couldn't go. It was a Sunday. It was not a bright, sunny day, but it was kind of overcast. And I went out and inspected the runway. The runway looked fine. Took off, went out and did some practice maneuvers. Was enjoying being in the cockpit again. I had flown that area for a while, so it was familiar to me. The airplane was handling just fantastic. Just flying around, looking at the countryside. They say about flying that it's hours of boredom punctuated by seconds of sheer panic. What I hadn't taken into account was that the weather was just above freezing. Some of the snow on the sides of the runway had melted, and by the time I got back, we had some black ice on the runway. The main wheels touched down, and all of a sudden I veered off to the left, and as soon as I started to slide, I added power to try to realign the plane with the runway. My left gear caught the snowbank, and that's when things really kind of got tense. It seemed like it happened in slow motion. When the plane stood up, I was looking straight down at the ground. I was hanging upside down by my seatbelt in my seat. There was a good bit of fuel on board because I didn't burn that much off. And of course the thing you worry about and think about is fire. I immediately remembered what you were supposed to do. Shut off the fuel supply, shut off the engine. I flipped the latch on the door to open it. I was pushing and it wouldn't open, and I really wanted to get out of that cockpit. It must have become jarred shut in the impact. I reared back and kicked it, I believe with my left foot as hard as I could, and the door flung open and I was out of there. There was nobody around. I had my cell phone. I made a call. First call I made was to my wife to tell her I was okay. When you stop and think what could have happened, that's when it hits. I could have died. It could have ended. It could have ended. Sometimes as cautious as you are, things just happen. I've been a very lucky man.